So we're doing a podcast, and this podcast has no name because we hate naming things. It's actually terrible. But
dude,
we
you're
have
an
our guest
author.
over
Like
here,
naming
James.
things is half of your job, bro. That's like most of what you do is name things.
Dude,
That's not true.
Okay, so if you've named series, you've named books, and like most of the time it's like something you're like, this will kind of work, and it's like, oh, that'll be there for a little bit and I'll make it better later, and then you just never do. And then when you get to the blurb, you're like, this is the worst thing I could ever create. Like, I don't know, it's like the 100, 200 words which just melt your mind. It's like, yeah, I wrote, 20,000 words last week. But like this 100, 200 words is the actual worst. James, introduce yourself.
Yeah. Real quick though, I mean, going back to the naming conventions of books. You are 100% right, and that like I'll spend all this time on a book, and I'll like in the beginning I'll like come up with like a temp name for a thing, and it's like temp name. Discount Dan, and then it'll be like final draft number 5. Seriously, this time, and then I'm like, oh no, I need to like actually come up with a name, and I'm like, this is fine, and then you just kind of roll with it because it's been on there for a long time, and that's what it is now, forever in your brain. So I do understand, but also like shame on you, Michael Chatfield. Name your things better, and also this is a mirror reflecting on me. I'm James Hunter. I'm a writer. A bunch of different things, like almost 50 books. Michael has more because he's better and younger and more handsome and successful than me in almost every metric. But compared to most people, I have written a lot of books. Viridian Gate Online, Rogue Dungeon, Big Bound, Shadow
ton of
Cross.
books, yeah.
And my most recent series is Discount Dan. And I also run Shadow Alley Press with my wife, Jeanette. We have a bunch of authors that we also publish, and we've been doing that since 2017. And I'm here to drink a cold one and hang out with my broskies.
Well, cheers.
I've written 6 books.
That's cute.
You are so sweet. You're just like you're just an adorable little guy, just out here do it with your 6 books. Like, oh, you precious baby. I love you, Andrew Givler. You're doing it, buddy. Very plucky.
Oh,
I love this dichotomy. I love this dichotomy because I don't know if you guys probably don't have this anymore because you've been doing it as long as I have, but I still have friends every once in a while who stop me who are like, I just feel like you're not appreciating that you sat down and wrote a whole book. Like, I'm so proud of you for doing that. I'm like, my friends think that's cute. Like, I don't. Like,
you're like a starter Pokemon, right? Like, we don't know what you're gonna evolve into yet. But once you get up to like level 16 or 17, you'll hit that.
Then we'll talk.
The rebellious middle phase Pokemon stage, and then we'll kind of see. But like right now, you're just like a cute little starter Pokemon, and you're in your baby form, and it's good. It's wholesome and adorable, and I love that for you.
I had an editor. I reached out to my editor and I was like, hey, so book's gonna be a bit late. And they're like, sounds about right. Was the response I got. And I was like, yeah, about that. And it's like, you get to a point where it's like, you're loving this story. It's really fun. But there's also a whole machine that takes it afterwards to make sure that what you wrote isn't terrible. And it's like,
that's the difference between you and me, Michael Chatfield. I just punt it out into the wild and expect it to be terrible. That's you have a process. My process is just chaos, and then going to the Grand Canyon and throwing loose leaves of paper into the wind and hoping that they find readers. We are not the same, Michael Chatfield. Again, you are better, handsomer, smarter, and more prolific than me, and there's a reason for that, and it's because you're better at life, and I appreciate that about you.
You also have children.
That's true.
You used to have a motorcycle.
I will.
And you want to hurl yourself out of an airplane on your 40th birthday.
I do want to do that. I will deflect and turn all of those things into scapegoats. I'm happy to do that. I will say that that again. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they just released Pokemon Fire Red on Switch, so maybe that's why my brain is in Pokemon mode. But I will say, like,
I was gonna say, this is your third Pokemon reference, dude. You got to slow down.
No, I'm going to double down. This is rule of threes. I don't know, Andrew Givler. Rule of threes. It's going to come up. I mean, technically only one more time, but I'm really going to go hard into this. But so, like, Andrew Givler is like, he's kind of he's like the next gen. I'd say he's like the Brout from the new Pokemon, like the Angry Bird. I feel like that's your vibe. Like, Michael Chatfield and I are like OG starters.
I just want to see. I want to see the bird now with Andrew's face badly plastered onto the front of it.
100%.
As it just like does. It's just like
you got to do the angry eyebrows though. You got to get the really thick angry eyebrows for Andrew Givler.
Oh my God!
It's got to be it. But like Michael Chatfield and I are like the OG Gen 1 starters, and Michael Chatfield is Charizard. He's everyone's favorite. He's sleek. He's aerodynamic. He's got fire. And I'm like Venusaur, right? Like Bull was like, I'm not really anyone's favorite. I'm just kind of plodding along and like, but you're like, well, he's doing his best out there. And I feel like that's the realm in which I inhabit on a regular basis.
So
James, you're one of my favorites in publishing. So let's not undersell James freaking Hunter for a second here. All right.
I appreciate you. I do. And again, Bulbasaur has his place. All right. He's good. He's solid. He's absolutely gonna KO Misty and Brock in those early gyms. But like, let's be real here. Charizard, shiny Charizard, that's what Michael Chatfield is. Like, no one is gonna look at shiny Charizard and like dumpy Venusaur and be like, yes, these two are equal athletes. Like, it's just not the same. Like, they're both good. They have their thing, but like, let's just be real here. That's all I'm saying. I'm just realistic self-reflection.
This conversation is taking me back to realizing that you two were the second and third people in publishing I ever met, and I met you together at a bar at Dragon Con at the Podium event because Bryce O'Connor invited me to it and then didn't show up for like 2 hours.
Oh, that Bryce
so I
O'Connor.
walked into a room full of people I didn't know. I had written one urban fantasy book, and I walked into a room full of LitRPG authors and was like, ah. And I stood at the bar and looked nervous, and James was like, I don't know you. I was like, I don't know anybody. And then the next thing,
just felt the urban fantasy vibes. He's like,
somebody needs help. You need to be rescued.
I think what it is that like, I am both socially awkward but socially unafraid, and so like I was the kid who on the playground was like, oh, that poor little boy on the swing is by himself and he looks sad. And that was you. And I was like, oh, that poor little boy by the bar is just swinging by himself with no one to talk to. And he looks like he could use a friend. So I'm I'm very direct. I just, I'll walk up to you on the swing and I'll be like, hey, buddy, do you want to be best friends? And that's it. And there's
and I was like, yes, please.
No beating around the bush. You just tell it how it is. That's it.
The next thing I knew, I was at the bar with you two, and this conversation is just reminding me. I'm like, oh yeah, no, wait, I've been here before.
Is it because of all the Pokemon references? Is that chaos. What it is?
It's just the high octane. Like, oh, I have years to catch up on. I'm on my way, guys. I'm coming. Wait for me.
You are a gem. You are a gem. I am genuinely glad that, like, I love your urban fantasy, and also I love urban fantasy. I started in urban fantasy. I even like went full time and was doing like the full time writing gig in urban fantasy. But man, I love LitRPG, and I am super excited to like see you make that transition. And like you're a good writer, man. You're a really good storyteller, and
Thank
it's
you.
like
That's
cool.
very kind of you.
Like we got another one, right? Like every time I feel like LitRPG is like the underdog Super Bowl team. Like no one believes in us, and they're like, "Oh, you guys suck. You guys are the Bears." Like we're just like we always get the shade. But every time we like get a first round draft pick from another genre, I'm like, "Oh, take that, eat that, urban fantasy. You thought you had Andrew Givler on lockdown, and we got him in the first round, bro." Every time, I'm very smug about it, like self-sat. Even though I had nothing to do with it, I am very smug.
You had a tremendous amount to do with it. What do you mean? That's crazy. You were like, The two of you are like 66% of the reason that happened. What do you mean? Seth Ring is the other one, but like,
we love that Seth Ring. Talk about a guy who's prolific. And see, the thing about Seth Ring, and I love Seth Ring, but I also simultaneously hate Seth Ring, and here's why.
Because you get an email once a month from Amazon saying new from Seth Ring.
Seth Ring has a new book, and that wouldn't be so bad. I know a lot of prolific authors. He also has like 5 kids. Like, my kids are my number one excuse for why I am not more productive and successful. Like, again, we already talked about them being the clear and obvious scapegoat, and then Seth Ring just like rolls up like he's driving a car made out of books that he wrote this month, and then he's like, oh yeah, Here's the 250 books that I did this month that I also somehow engineered to drive. And come on out, kids. And it's just a whole pile of kids that like it's like a clown car filled with children, and they just keep coming. And I'm like, dude, you got to stop it, Seth. You make everyone else look so bad by being so good, and I can't handle that mentally. You need to stop.
It drives me nuts in a way that I can't explain, where like my whole life, Seth and I have a board game company together, right? And my whole life I have been the kid that's like the dreamer that everyone's like, hey, I think you need to like put yourself in a box. You need to figure it out. Like, slow your roll, right?
Brakes, Andrew.
Have reasonable dreams. Yeah. And what happens is
in your approach of success.
Like, you want to be a YouTuber, never going to happen. You want to be a writer, never going to happen. Right? The story we've all had, right?
Yeah.
And I have done it. Seth will come to me with ideas, and they will be beyond outlandish. They will be ridiculous. And I, the dreamer, will be like, Seth, I don't know. Like, maybe we should pick part of this. Like, we need to like be strategic. And I am wrong every time. Seth wins 100% of the time. It drives me nuts that I have to be the Grinch in our relationship, dude, because I have never been the Grinch before, and I hate it.
The fact that you were the voice of reason in that relationship shows exactly how preposterous it is. I mean, really, genuinely, and I say this with love, one of the most unreasonable people I know. So for you to be like, hey, let's pump the brakes on this, Seth, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Like, it really must just be going off the rails all the time. And that's hard
every time he's right. Around. And it's infuriating. I have to stop questioning Seth Ring when he's like, I'll just write 47 books and let's publish a bunch of board games, and each one will do better than the last, and then we'll like have a sustainable company. And I'm like, that's not how things work, Seth.
Nothing works that way, Seth, except for Seth they do. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he just looks at me and smiles. He's too polite to ever be arrogant.
Yeah.
But I will be like, I was wrong, and he'll just like do the little Seth smile, the real pleased one, and
Seth is like a genuinely good human being, and he's so sweet and he's so humble. And I feel like he is like the LitRPG version of a Disney princess, where like the rest of us are moving around in this like evil world filled with like twisting vines and thorns, and then like it's like all dark and it's grim dark, and like Seth is just like skipping through the forest with like his picnic basket filled with goodies, and there's like wildlife like flitting down to sit on his arm, and Seth is just like, no, the world is a wonderful, beautiful place, everybody. It's all animals. And I'm thinking like, bro, that chipmunk has rabies. It's going to bite you, and you're not even going to know until you're systematic, and then you're dead. There's no cure. And Seth is like, no, rabies don't exist. I don't know why I'm doing Mickey Mouse, but like that's what I'm doing.
It works.
But, yeah, he's got like crazy Disney princess vibes, does Seth Ring.
Okay, talking about Disney, how excited were you when Steamboat Willie got freed up from IP?
So, oh my God. Jubilant. So, like, for those who don't know, so Discount Dan 3, which is the third book in the series, that makes sense because, like, 3, obviously, comes out this month at the end of the month. I still don't have an exact release date because Audible's being kind of cagey, but it's coming out. Originally, when I did the cover, I had a generic, like, cartoony rodent on there, but it was a placeholder. And the moment that Steamboat Willie became public domain, I went back to the artist and I was like, replace this house's head with evil Steamboat Willie with like he's got his steam pipe hat with the skull and crossbones. The big man, this book is so weird. All of these books are weird, but like book 3, there's some really weird shenanigans. But it's teased in book 2 that they're going to finally confront this creature called the Franchiser, and he's a literal corporate Hydra. So he's like a Hydra, and he has all of these different heads, but they're all various chain mascots. And some of them, because they're not public domain, so I have like off-brand Ronald McDonald, it's the Burger Baron, but it kind of looks like it. But like the central head is Steamboat Willie, and he has like lawyer powers, so he can like cast cease and desist on you. There's all kinds of like weird, very weird things. But also, since I was like, man, I'm leaning into this angle. So when I was writing that third act, I was like, I'm going to find all of the public domain IP, and I'm just going to put it all in here. So like Steamboat Studios is at the heart of the 10,000 Acre Wood, because the vast majority of Winnie the Pooh characters are all public domain. And there's a lot of really weird things that happen in this book. Popeye the Centaur Man is in there, just like giant bulging muscles and corncob pipe, but also he's a centaur who will absolutely curb stomp you. It's very straight. He's also in black and white and has like Toon Force. It's so wild. It's very strange. I could not be more happy.
You know, what's really funny is as you were describing this, I had a thought in my head. I was going to make this joke, and then you did it for me. Is I was like, thinking about the things that have come into like open source or open domain. I was like, of all the authors I know, James Hunter is the most likely to make a Winnie the Pooh themed horror lit RPG. And then you were like, and it's in the 100 Acre Wood, and I was like, there it is.
I already did it, bro. There's cannibal tiggers, and like
he is the tip of that wave, and you were just floating behind it.
I'm already there. We're right here. We're on the wavelength. But yeah, it's like, and a lot of the like they're so weird. But like there's like an Eeyore. But its main attack is like psychic depression, and it just drives you to want to throw yourself into a swamp and drown. So it's they're all like pseudo on brand, but very deranged. Could not be more happy with how weird it is. I will say, because there are a lot of people very concerned, like blowing up my DMs. They're like, "What are you going to do to Winnie the Pooh?" I will say, this is a spoiler, but by the time this is out, everyone hopefully will have read it. But like Winnie the Pooh is the last bastion of hope and goodness in this entire floor. He might have dementia. So they're like, it's not completely like carefree, happy go lucky. He might have like a little bit of that going on, but Winnie the Pooh, he's there, and he is not a monster grizzly bear with tentacle intestines that will try to rip your face off. So there is a shining light of hope out there for all you Winnie the Pooh stands. That was
a little oddly specific there.
Yeah.
Right at the end.
Well, there's
like,
a lot
he's
of
not
other
this
things, surprisingly, that have that sort of mechanic of just like,
oh, okay, yeah, that's the vibe going on. Got it.
Belly maw from throat to groin, filled with giant tentacles. That's a whole thing. But yeah, it's not Winnie. Winnie's a sweet little old bear.
You can't corrupt Winnie the Pooh. If you corrupt Winnie the Pooh,
there's something wrong with you. I remember when you were telling me about the concept of discount down. I think when you were writing the first one, and I was really excited about a backrooms horror lit RPG, and you have made it so much weirder than I ever thought it was going to be. And it's so great. I feel like I constantly see Reddit threads popping up of people being like, "This book gets so weird," and like I'm so caught off guard by it, and I'm like, it's so great.
That's James's literal second dumpster that he lives in.
Yeah,
because James has a problem. James has a Reddit issue because he has been banned from Reddit so many times, and he keeps going back. Now, he hasn't been actually banned by Reddit, but he's been banned by those that love and care for him in the most definitive sense, and said, "You should not do this anymore." And he goes, I don't listen to reason.
Can't stop myself, bro.
I'm here for the Reddit.
I got an addiction, and that addiction is Reddit. That's my favorite lurking place. Is the anonymous subs on subreddit. I just like dwell there, just waiting to pounce at the mere mention of my name or anything I've ever written. And I'm just I'm like a monster in a closet, and you don't think I'm there, but I am. I'm always there. I'm in the back seat, waiting for you to mention me one time. And then I'm like, boom! I'm here. I was here. I was always here. You just didn't see me.
Did somebody say James Hunter?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, every time. Every time. I can't help myself.
I can't knock you. I do it too. So really, it's fine.
You You people.
I find it funny. I really find it funny. I can't help it.
I feel like Reddit is the only place, like, because I'll never go and like comment on like reviews on books, right? Like that's a big no. You don't go on Goodreads, you don't comment on reviews. But like when people are on Reddit, and I don't talk to the people who are like shit talking me, right? Like I won't do that. But like anytime like it feels like the one organic place where like, hey, this is not a weird place for me to engage with readers and like organic conversation. And so I don't know, man. It's freeing. It's liberating. Also, it's not TikTok, and I don't have to put my face on camera, which is I do not have a face made for cameras, guys. That's not this.
I disagree. Okay, first of all, you're a very handsome man. Second of all, you had a TikTok lately that made me laugh out loud. The generation, like the era of unhinged TikToks that are coming out, where it's like always spliced in with like a popular trending TikTok. So I got fed this TikTok, and it was like from author James Hunter, and it's this woman who says, "Men without what was it? Men without hose, where are you?" And then it cuts to James, and he's wearing the Discount Dan bathrobe, and he was like, "I'm in the back rooms hunting monsters that are." And it caught me so off guard that I like choked. I was like,
I saw one where is James being a wizard.
Yeah.
And I like, okay, what is I don't know. He's probably well known at this point, but James loves D&D.
I do like D&D.
I think if there's one thing that James could do for the rest of his life, it's probably smoke cigars, ride motorcycles, jump out of planes, and then probably fourth is play D&D.
Book writing is nowhere on that.
No, not even in the top 10, to be honest. So here, okay, real quick,
it's the supporting role of our lives.
This is so hard to admit. I don't actually like writing that much. I like storytelling. I love telling stories. I love coming up with ideas for stories, and that's why I like D&D so much, because it's like collaborative storytelling, and I love telling stories. Like the actual mechanics of sitting down to write is like, it's like a guy who loves cars, but doesn't want to be a mechanic, except you have to be a mechanic you have to build the car. So for me, like writing is like, all right, I have to do this thing because this is the only way for me to tell stories in the form that I want to tell stories. But like the actual process, it's not like, oh man, I'm in rapture, I'm writing and I'm in the flow. Like a lot, like for me, a lot of writing is like digging ditches. It's just like you show up, you have your shovel, and you dig your trench for 8 hours, and then you get out of the word mind and you dust the ink from your face, and I got the ink long, Pop, and then you like hobble off to bed. Like that's what writing is. It's like it's like shifts in the word minds. And you're just like hammering away, but that's what you got to do to tell stories, and that's the thing that I love telling stories, and that's why I like D&D, because D&D is like it's collaborative storytelling without the actual like grinding mechanics of having to be in the word minds for 8 hours a day.
How do you feel about editing, James?
I hate that more than I dislike writing.
I don't know.
Yeah,
why.
it's not good. It's not.
Yeah, I figured.
It is not life-giving, as they say in the healing circles.
You're lagging, Michael.
Michael Chatfield. I'm
sure you. Oh man. Oh no, he's left us alone and unattended.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk like mad trash about Michael Chatfield. Okay, you go first.
Okay, let me tell you what. Michael Chatfield is an agent of chaos.
That is true.
I think. No one has dragged me into more ridiculous outings in the author sphere than Michael Chatfield. Last Dragon Con, he and I decided to go get dinner at the Westin. It was like in between events.
Yes.
And we get to the thing, and he's like, "Do you want a drink?" And I said, "Sure, I'll have a glass of wine." And he said, "Well, I'll have a glass of wine." And he said, "Well, if we're gonna have 2 glasses of wine, we might as well just get a bottle." And I said, "Okay, sure."
Obviously.
A bottle. And next thing I know, Philip C. Quantrell comes over and a couple other people. And we just start chatting, and Michael and I killed the bottle, and I turn around, and Michael just has another bottle of wine that he hands to me, and I was like, all right, well, Mike. And it was like 4 p.m., right? It was like when we had dinner at the Westin and just started ordering bottles of wine.
Michael Chatfield, I want to say, so as soon as you dropped, Andrew Givler was like, hey, we should talk trash about Michael Chatfield. I'll go first.
Whoa! This is a betrayal.
Exactly how it happened.
This is a betrayal.
Yeah. He was so hot to jump on the let's throw Michael Chatfield under the bus.
The second biggest agent of chaos I know is James Hunter, unfortunately. So I'm just surrounded on all sides.
It's just a liquor
so you have the second bottle of wine. It's like 4.
Yeah.
And you guys are getting sloshed in the Westin bar. Is that what's happening here?
Wait. Okay, so actually, I could say something to this because this morning I went to Whole Foods, and it's an American chain of food things, but they also have booze. And I go to it, and I know that I'm going to be seeing Andrew today. And you know what I see in it? I see pre-made packs of champagne and orange juice. And I just laughed to myself a little bit because Andrew and I had a meeting for breakfast. So usually in conventions, what happens is you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you have your meetings. That's your meetings with like business people or hanging out with friends. Because the rest of the time is like doing panels and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I have a meeting with Andrew in the morning. Andrew and I are there, and the lady comes up. She's like, "Hey, do you guys want breakfast?" And she's like, "Well, we've got, mimosas, palomas, and all this other kind of stuff." And then Andrew just looks at me and he's like, "Want a drink?" And I go for a mimosa, please. And he goes, "I'll go for a mimosa, please." And then like 4 mimosas each deep. Then we're like, okay, we're good to start the day.
That's right. I forgot that was the start of that day.
And then Andrew is like, "I've got to go do a signing at Athon's booth." And I'm like, "I got to do a signing at Shadow Alley's booth." So we hang out at Athon's booth. We go hang out at Shadow Alley's booth. And then we're like, well, we're kind of done. Westin? And that is how we get to the Westin to have lunch with Norrit, who's like, "If you're talking about business, I'm going to read right here." Sorry, I got to go through this now because I just realized what Norrit did as soon as he showed up. We show up to Westin, we grab a bottle of wine. We're having a bottle of wine, we're having a good time.
Dude, I love Norrit so much.
Norrit just shows up and he just goes, 2 beers. Just straight away, just like, "Give me beers." And just half drains the first one. And then he's like, "How's it going?" Like, he's like, "What are you guys talking about?" We're talking about books for a little bit at the time. Then it turns to any kind of business. And he's like, "Cool." And just starts reading his book and drinking the beer as we are on our second bottle of wine at the Westin.
Norrit carries around a book at conventions because if the conversation reaches something he's uninterested in, he'll just tune out until you're ready to talk about anything that he's excited about again. So he'll just whip, especially if he follows me and Seth around, because Seth and I will be like, "Oh my God, you want to talk about the ROI of your..." And Norrit will be like, "You guys are disgusting." And he'll just pull out his book and read it. And I'll be like, "Oh, cool, we're talking about books again." And he'll put it down. It's my favorite thing.
That is the most classic author behavior I have ever seen. Like the antisocial hermit who is forced to interact with the public behavior I have ever seen. Now, real quick, before any of your viewers here want to stage an intervention because you are obviously alcoholics, I will say, during conventions, Saturday, you kind of get a pass because it's very demanding. It's very stressful. We don't people well by nature, right? Like one of my driving goals of being an author. Yes, I love to tell stories, but really, it's I don't want to wear real pants and I don't want to leave my house for almost any reason. Like, those are very strong driving desires.
Huge motivators. Huge motivators.
And so like when you're, especially like Dragon Con, where it's so long, right? Because it's a normal convention is like 2 or 3 days. Like Dragon Con's like 6 days of high intensity marathoning through Atlanta in the sweltering heat with like a stack of books, and then and also people asking you questions. Like none of this is our natural habitat. So like a little self-medicating is fine. It's normal. This is nothing to be alarmed about. Andrew and Michael definitely don't have a problem. Andrew might have a problem, but it's fine. That was an aside.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That was a classic play aside. So only the audience can hear that part. Just so you guys know.
Oh, right. You said that part. You said that part in brackets.
Right.
So I have no idea.
Yeah. Andrew, not for you.
Yeah. Okay, my bad.
You're just going to see a few more plays just to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is crazy slander especially from James is the king of we became very good friends, and then like we started going to cons, and James is so busy and in such high demand that I'll be like, James, you gonna hang out with me? Are we gonna are we gonna see you at the bar? And he'll be like, I'll be there for 3 minutes and then I'm going to bed. And then he'll come in and he will literally be like, hi, good to see you. Yes, hi, good to see you. Hi. Good night, everyone. Be like, James, I have traveled halfway across the country to see my friend James Hunter. Where is he? Oh, I'm too busy selling Discount Dan copies all day tomorrow. I'll see you later. I have to wear my bathrobe early. Yeah. Okay, Dan.
I will say, so you are not wrong about any of your accusations. I will own all of this. I will also say, one of my driving desires to put Discount Dan in a bathrobe, obviously it's a fashion icon. But two, that's my normal work attire. And so this was a way for me to write a series that allows me to dress the way I normally do and not have to change my life appreciably when I go into public. And people are like, oh, he's cosplaying. And I'm like, no, bro, this is just me at home. All right. So it was really a workaround for convenience in my life is what it was.
This is a new level of author self-insert, right? People are always like, is that the author's personality? You're like, no, that's the author's dress code.
Yeah.
It is.
I've never seen two authors immediately become friends faster than James Hunter and Dakota Crowd discussing how they just want to work in their bathrobes for the rest of their lives.
It's, I like to say...
The rest of the world disappeared.
Yeah.
And it was James Hunter and Dakota becoming immediate and very, very close friends being like, let's friction weld this together with bathrobes.
I will say, like, they say that friendships are built on core and mutual shared values. And I think that that's true. And, like, there's not many values that run deeper than a desire for sweatpants and bathrobes. Speaking of this, I'm wearing a pair of these sweatpants right now. So Michael Chatfield, so we hold a Shadow Valley retreat every year in Kentucky. We rent like this big old cabin. We have a bunch of our authors come out. And the first year we had Michael come out to like hang out with us. And Michael shows up and he's like, hey, I brought you a gift. And like, I don't really know what to expect from a gift. And then he like gives me sweatpants. And I was like, this is the most thoughtful gift anyone has ever given me, and I'm not sure anyone knows my soul better than you. And they were Roots sweatpants, which I had not ever experienced before. And this is like the Canadian gold standard for all attire. Like this is if they had a national dress code, it would be Roots. And these are the best I still have those sweatpants. It's been like 8 years. There's definitely a hole in the crotch. I'm not ever going to get rid of them. They're mine. They're mine forever. And I have since bought many sweatpants. Right now, I'm wearing a pair of Roots, and it's all because of Michael Chatfield's influence on me, and really like showing me the world of possibilities that are out there beyond Walmart. And it was an eye-opening thing.
You know that Dakota stole his wife's pants because he enjoyed them so much.
They're so nice. They're so nice. Okay.
Thank God they're unisex. Also, finding your pants because you're a tall was a pain in the butt.
It's true.
And also, I've had comments that we look similar because of the ginger beard, and they're like, "Oh, like, are you like cousins or something?" I'm like,
"Tell me you've never seen the two of you next to each other ever before."
Like, I've heard that too, but usually it's like the paraphrase is, "Oh, are you and Michael Chatfield related? Like, is he your younger, more handsome, more successful brother?" And I'm like, "No, we are not related. Yes, all of those other things are true." That's usually how that conversation goes.
You're a gem of a human being, bastard.
Real quick, I do want to put a plug out for anyone who's watching this and they have a limited budget and they're trying to decide, what do I do? Do I buy Discount Dan or do I buy a pair of Roots sweatpants? Buy the sweatpants. If I had to urge you to spend your money on like disposable income on one thing, as good as my books are, they're never going to beat a pair of Roots sweatpants. I mean, they are so comfortable.
8 years, ladies
They
and
will
gentlemen.
last you for years. I mean, you might get enjoyment out of my book for 20 hours. You're going to get enjoyment out of those Roots sweatpants for the next 2 decades, okay? It's not even close. So if you have to pick Roots, okay? I just want to just go out on a limb here and put that out into the universe.
And as an added benefit, by the 5th year, they're ventilated.
That is true. That's right. They start to breathe because of the constant holds of just wear and tear. But that doesn't make them any worse. Again, just more readable.
Character. It's character.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, now seems like a good time to read today's sponsor, Gymshark.
I really hope that this, again, I am not sponsored by Roots, but Roots, if somehow this comes across your desk, man, the things I would do to get a Roots sponsorship, you have no idea. I mean,
do you know who the
you're
current
Canadian,
sponsor of Roots?
you're peaceful. I could commit war crimes for you. Like, I'm not saying I would, but I'm also not saying that's not on the table as like a negotiating point. Like we could talk about it. Like it's open.
So funny backstory here. You're talking about the Geneva checklist, right? As it's referred
Obviously.
to in Canada?
Yeah, obviously.
Cool.
And I'm not sure that Canada is a signatory. I could be wrong, but I feel like they do things with maple syrup and mooses and squirrels that are just no one ever thought that those things were possible, but the Canadians found a way.
Oh, buddy, they are.
That's true.
We'll find a way. It's a bit of a legal matter, really. I think that we were kind of forced to do that because everyone was like, yo, stop that. And then it's like, do we have to? And they're like, you have to sign this document that says you will never do these things again. And we're like, specifically. And they're like, yes. I'm like, we can work with this.
Yeah.
We can work with this.
Yeah, instead of like the traditional, like we were talking like water drip torture earlier, and for context here, we were not actually talking war crimes. I was saying that my marketing strategy is just to drip on people enough and to be so prevalent and annoying that eventually I wear down their mental resistances until they're like, fine, I'll read one of your books, just leave me alone. That was the context of this. But here, actual Canadian war crimes. Now, this is just rumored, but it's slathering them in maple syrup and then releasing the rabid Canadian squirrels on their enemies. It's like a summoning mechanic from LitRPG, but it's purely Canadian. Also, I'm going to immediately put that into a Discount Dan book. There will 100% now be a Canadian summoner who uses maple syrup and rabid squirrels. That's like 100%. I'm going to name him Michael Chatfield.
So Discount Dan 4 confirmed?
Yes. It's so I'm already like 50% of the way through it. It's Discount Dan's Disco Inferno. And it's disco vampires, man. It's an entire mafia organization of 1970s disco go-go skating vampires. There's a lot going on. Very nuanced.
Can a vampire see itself in a mirror ball?
Well, obviously. I mean, not all the things are true, Andrew Givler. God, you should know this. You write urban fantasy.
I'm sorry. Reflections is like sacred, man. No crossing thresholds and no reflections. Come on now.
No,
those are the two rules.
No. I'm playing pretty loosey goosey with the vampire. Like the cover for that book, which will be out because we put it up for pre-order once book 3 goes live. But it's probably my favorite cover in the entire series because it's like Dan and he's on this like disco floor. And he's like holding up this go-go vampire woman skater, and she's like in like a sequin top, but she's hideous. Like her jaw on hinges, and she's got 10,000 teeth. And then like Croc is like dangling from her ankle, and she's like wearing roller skates. It's the best cover in the entire series. It might be my favorite piece of art that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's amazing. I love it so much. Now, real quick before we move on, I would like to circle back around to Michael.
He's not done with the Canadians.
Around.
This is like an infinity symbol of circles.
Yeah,
at this point.
We're just doing this to Michael Chatfield slander because again, Andrew Givler.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like the second he dropped was like, hey, he's the worst. We should talk trash about him. Let's throw him under the bus. I'll go first because I have strong opinions on Michael Chatfield, but I never got to say the thing that I wanted to say. So I'm going to give my favorite Michael Chatfield slander story, but it's 100% true. So this is so weird.
I now can't imagine James sliding into the middle of the floor on rollerblades. Just like one leg, just like
yeah. Yeah. I am always committed to the bit. If there's one thing I believe in, it's commit to the bit. So I'm not saying that's out of the question. My son is in a roller skating unit right now in elementary school, and I have absolutely signed up as a volunteer, and I'm gonna strap those skates on, and I'm gonna get back into the groove of it.
If you pull your groin, I want Jeanette's video of it.
Oh yeah,
because
I cannot wait for Jeanette's commentary on your inevitable rollerblading injury.
I can imagine Jeanette is going to collapse laughing while holding the phone to capture it so that we can all see James being carted off with one hip somehow behind his head, being like, "It's okay, honey.
Don't you put that evil on me, Michael Chatfield. I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna crush it like the skulls of my enemies. All right, there's no challenge too great for me, including rollerblading." Interesting side note. This is not an aside for the audience. You two are allowed to hear this, but we'll come back to Michael Chatfield in a minute. But Aaron Michael Ritchie, who I love to pieces, one of my favorite human beings on the planet, and my co-author for the Shadowcroft Academy for Dungeons. He is significantly older than me. He's in very good shape for an older man. But Aaron Michael Ritchie loves rollerblading. And oh
God, of course.
And like, if you go look up pictures of Aaron Michael Ritchie, this is not a man that you would expect to rollerblade. But he also has acquired this weird habit where he collects sticks, and not like one stick, so he rollerblades around his neighborhood, and he just collects sticks. So it's this Gen Xer, this 6'4" Gen Xer on rollerblades and shorts with just a pile of sticks that he's carting around like a baby through his neighborhood. And I cannot imagine the headspace or what goes on in the minds of his neighbors who see this man and they're like, "Oh man, the weird rollerblading hobo is back. He's getting our sticks again. What does he want with the sticks? No one knows. Why does he keep getting the sticks?" The dialogue at the HOA meeting that has to happen there, I would kill to be a fly on a wall for that conversation. Amazing.
It's just going to be just someone's going to bring up, "Hey, so there's a guy that's been catching sticks and doing this," and then the chairwoman is just going to go, "We don't want to invoke the eldritch horror that is back at the Ritchie home, so shut the up."
That is true. That is true. You're not wrong. If something
Sticks for the stick throwing, blood for the blood god.
Yeah. If something is sufficiently deranged enough, I feel like people ignore it for fear of the reprisals of what happens if they confront it. So he might just get a pass.
The only reason someone's doing that is because it's terrible if you don't. That's the only explanation. Keep on, soldier.
Gotta be. Now that we're done with our side and tangent about the rollerblading Aaron Michael Ritchie, so we were in Valencia with Michael Chatfield. This is one of the best things about being a writer. Is I get to travel the world and go to cool places, and then all my buddies get to come along, and then we just hang out in cool places, and then we eat paella, and then we drink wine at a pool at 9 a.m. and then we do writing sprints. It is the single best job I've ever had, and I've had a lot of jobs. But so we were in Valencia, and Aaron Michael Ritchie was there, obviously, rollerblading, obviously. No, I'm kidding, he was not, but he wanted to be. And Dakota was there, Nathan Amy was there. And Jeanette and Aaron's wife Laura. So we had this big group of people there. Michael oh man, there's a lot of Valencia stories. 2 Valencia stories. You get 2. The first one is the Michael Chatfield slander. So Michael Chatfield, who is again much better looking and in much better shape than all of us, would not put a shirt on the entire time. He's single.
Naturally.
All of our wives are there, and he's going topless like a juggalo. And I'm like, bro, contain your pecs. Please put on a shirt. My wife is in this house. And Michael Chatfield he cannot be contained. So he's just shirtless the entire time we're in Valencia, it was come on, dude. You're making the rest of us look so bad. Have a little decency and common courtesy with your physique.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah,
so the disclaimer is that I didn't know that we had laundry. I didn't know we had laundry until the 3rd day, and as any man knows, shorts cannot die until they touch the floor.
That is true.
And shirts die after and shirts die after a day. So I just decided to not wear shirts to save my last 3 shirts. And then Laura was like, holy this dryer is so warm. Can you not turn it on? Because me and Aaron are dying on the top floor because it's like in the second floor in the cubby, but all of the air just goes right through into their room, and they're apparently cooking at night because people are doing late night laundry. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna keep on doing as I've been doing because it's kind of comfortable not having to wear a shirt.
Yeah. Well, it was not comfortable for the rest of us, Michael Chatfield. I felt unsafe and awkward put upon Michael Chatfield.
It's because I kept on twisting
6'4" James Hunter felt unsafe and awkward.
Yeah, that's right. It was very emotionally damaging to see a man in his prime with a much better physique and obviously more self-control than I had. But this is not the slander. This is just the setup. So Michael Chatfield,
that's just a fact.
And shirtless the entire time. But we go to the beach. We're walking on the beach. A normal thing to do when you go to the beach is like we have flip-flops. Michael Chatfield has tennis shoes and like calf-high white socks. And we get to the beach, and Michael Chatfield refuses to take off his tennis shoes and his he's walking shirtless. And he's like calf-high socks and shoes, and he's like, oh, the sand keeps getting in my shoes. And we're like, bro, just take the shoes off. And he's like, I'll never take the shoes off. I refuse to take the shoes off. And we're walking on the beach for 10 miles. And the rest of us are wearing flip-flops or carrying our not Michael Chatfield. Not once did he break character or take these shoes off. I don't know what happened, but it was easily one of the greatest feats of endurance I've ever seen, but also the strangest commitment to a bit. But why? You're on a beach, sand in your toes. Okay. That's the whole thing.
Is this where we find out Michael has an extra toe?
No. So.
Yeah. Good luck getting out of this one, Michael Chatfield. Everyone knows your dirty secret.
The worst part was that I remember this completely. The way I had to walk was so flat-footed so that the sand wouldn't go into my shoes. Because once it's in your shoes, it's never coming out.
Throw them out.
Waddling the entire time. It was crazy. Yeah. Like a penguin.
I'm waddling like I'm the most constipated person you've ever seen this side of Iraq, right? You're going. Anyway, the problem was I was just I had gone halfway across this beach, and I'm like, if I take my socks and my shoes off, then I have to carry this all the way to dinner. Then I have to carry them all the way back. And I had been hearing glass smashing for the last 2 nights when people were drinking. And I was like, I don't trust this here boardwalk. I'm going to cut my feet on it. And so I was like, I'm not going to do that. Looking back on it, it was a decision. I should have just gone to the water.
Michael Chatfield is trying to shoe walk this back. But you will not gaslight me. There's no reasonable explanation for your shoe and sock beach combo shenanigans. It was utterly irredeemable. And
you know what? You look.
I thought better of you, Michael.
You look back at it and you're like, I was dumb.
That never happens to me. Okay, I don't need that from both of you. That's okay. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Now that
both of you had the exact same look on your face.
There's one other this is the worst thing that happened in Valencia, but it was so funny. So we had rented this villa, and so we're all staying in this big villa. It had a pool out back, and it had this screen covered thing, but it was a mesh screen over the top for a sunshade, right? And so it's super early in the morning. And Michael Chatfield and I were we're going to be go-getters. We're going to be gung-ho. So we wake up early. Everyone else is asleep. And we're let's go work out by the pool. So we set up. We're underneath the sun sail. And it's just it's beautiful. We're listening to jams.
We're literally at our computers, and we haven't had coffee yet. It's not digested. So we've had maybe 1 or 2 words between the two of us.
Yeah.
We just kind of come downstairs, stared at one another, looked outside, and was like, that's nice. and then walked outside underneath the shade to just start working.
Yeah,
as troglodytes.
There's like, like we are again in one of the most beautiful places in the entire world, with access to a beach like 100 feet from this villa, and we're like, hey, we should do writing sprints because we're morons who don't know how to use our time well or relax. But so we're like set up. We have like our full kits, like my travel workstation and my like the whole thing. So we're like sitting. We're probably like 20 minutes into this thing, and this bird flies by.
Seagull.
And like he must have like gorged himself on 100 White Castle cheeseburgers, because this bird takes the biggest dump in the history of bird dump. And we're under this sun sail, but it's like mesh, right? So this giant glob of bird poop hits this thing, and it like evaporates into bird poop mist that splatters Michael Chatfield and I. Like it wasn't like just getting like a bit of poop on us. It was like a fine grade sunscreen mist spraying down over both of us. And we just like looked at each other and like, did we just get shit bombed by a bird? Like it was,
dude.
Yeah, it was the worst experience in Valencia, but very memorable.
I think it went from actually like this actual, if it does it side by side, it went from my shoulder over my head over James's shoulder, James's head, both of our computers.
Yeah.
And we just went and like just looked at one another.
What that's disgusting.
Committed here?
Disgusting.
And
this is a two birds,
like
one stone situation, except one bird, two guys.
Two laptops?
Is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds worse when you say it that way.
Yep.
But it was just like we looked at one another and he just went, hey, do you feel that? It was like, and then we like understood, because all of it hadn't made it through the mesh.
Yes.
There was still the evidence above us. And we're like,
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm not coming with you guys to Valencia ever. I'm passing on that.
I mean, again, other than the bird poop grenade and Michael Chatfield traumatizing us all by walking 10 miles on the beach in shoes and cat-high socks, it was a lovely time. Like our house was next to like the best paella restaurant, like the rated best paella restaurant in Valencia and maybe in Spain. And so like we had like a private room, like overlooking the beach, and like this giant, like multiple shared paella platters. Lovely time. A couple of minor asterisks that could be noted is all.
Yeah, one or two events worth mentioning. Yeah.
I will say, James, you are one of the most interesting cats when it comes to classy events.
I'm not sure any of those words mean what you think they mean, but go ahead.
This should be good. This should be good.
Remember the podium event, Andrew?
Yeah.
Where James gorged himself on finger food?
I mean, that sounds accurate. I don't remember it. I may have drank too much, but it sounds accurate.
Dragon Connor Vegas.
The fact that there's multiple events where you know that this has happened with James, I think delivers the point home. Because if it's a sit-down dinner, James is like, give me the largest piece of meat that I can possibly fit on my plate.
This is accurate.
And like a Diet Coke, if I'm correct.
Yeah, you got to offset all of the calories of the whipped mashed potatoes and buttered slathered meat. And the Diet Coke is the way to do it. Like it's, like that's I'm very health conscious that way.
That's net neutral, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Like, okay, question for you, James. Does it matter the steak or does it matter the quantity of steak?
No. I love all steak. And here's the thing about me. I am a kind of a trash human with a very trash palate. Okay, it's like if you're
the trash panda of humans.
If you gave a raccoon an Amex and you're just like, go loose in the world, like that's basically me. So I like the worst things, and like it's universally true. Like so, I enjoy like cigars I don't smoke regularly, but like cons, I'm like, okay, it's like we'll have cigars at cons. And like, so we always go with these authors and they have like these like fancy like Cuban cigars, or they're like, you know, $100 acids. And Aaron and I will go down to the gas station and we'll buy like the sweet and milds, or like the banana flavored cigars that come like 3 to a pack for $1.99. And I swear,
you smell it and it's like smoking cough syrup.
Yeah,
These two men who are like brother, like, okay, also to put this into a picture for other people, you and Aaron together is like two brothers separated at birth.
This is true.
20 years apart.
Yeah, it's 100% right. And we both have trash taste. So like, we will smoke the absolute cheapest, nastiest cigar. But like, to me, it's like flavor time, man. It's like what are you bums doing with these fancy $100 cigars? This tastes like bananas. This has grape undertones. Why would you not want grape undertones in your cigar choice? I don't get it. But it's like that with everything, right? I don't have a good palate for like alcohol. So like we went to Buffalo Trace Distillery with Dave Chesson in Dakota, because Dave Chesson's like super into like bourbons, and so like we're doing like testings, and they were like flights, and like Dakota's also got like a refined palate, so they're like trying, and they're like, oh yeah, this one I can taste the chocolate undertones, and Dave Chesson's like, ooh, do you get the hint of cherry? And I'm like, bro, there is not any difference between any of these. They just poured gasoline into shot glasses and gave it to us. They are all exactly the same, and both of you are liars. Like, there's no difference. So, like, I just don't have a good enough palate to enjoy good things. And so I'm like, well, if I can't tell the difference between good and bad things, I should just take the bad things because they're cheap. So, you know, it's a whole thing. Another related food story about my bad palate. So, I was in the Marine Corps, and we would do training ops all the time, and like they would give us MREs, which Michael Chatfield will confirm, like they're terrible for you, like, and they'll like back you up for weeks at a time. So what I would have my wife do is I would have her sneak me either McDonald's double cheeseburgers, like an entire backpack full, like 50 double cheeseburgers, because they don't ever go bad. Like, you don't have to refrigerate them. You don't, like, there's so many preservatives that they just stay forever. So, like, I would have her sneak me an entire backpack of 50 cheeseburgers that I would just, like, leave under a hot rock, and I would, like, sneak them like a gerbil anytime someone wasn't looking. Or conversely, I would pack in, like, an entire bag full of Chef Boyardee raviolis, and I would just eat them cold. Like, I would just, like slurp them up with chopsticks and for, like, weeks at a time. Because, again, garbage taste. So recently, I was shopping with my kids, and I was like, you know what I haven't had in forever? Chef Boyardee. My kids are going to lose their mind. So I buy them Chef Boyardee raviolis. Like, we get home, I'm like, oh, guys, you are in for a treat. And, like, I make it for them. I even, like, microwave it so they don't have to eat it cold, which is technically better than cold, but, like, not by much. And I give it to them, and they take, like, one bite of one ravioli, and they're like, Dad, this tastes like sadness. Why is my mouth sad, Daddy? And I'm like, oh, no, my kids are too bougie to enjoy Chef Boyardee ravioli. It was genuinely crushing.
And then you just went back to the 100-acre forest.
Yeah, that's it, like, man.
This is what I need.
You're like, Eeyore, where are you?
Yeah. No, because that's James's reality. It's just the horror palace of the forest. He's like, oh, everything's fine. You know, it's that classic thing of everything's fine and everything's burning around him.
Oh, yeah, the little dog.
Yeah,
I will attest to the simple fact that I have eaten a McD's double cheeseburger, I think 5 weeks after I purchased it. I found it at the back. So we have these packs. We call them small packs. You put your ammo and stuff into it. And underneath my ammo and my spent casings and all of the stuff that comes with that was a little McDonald's burger. And because it had been flattened. They get quite small when you do that, which is also another trick if you need that. And I was on the bus, and they offered us sandwiches, handmade sandwiches done that day. And I was like, no. I have better cuisine today.
Yeah.
And everyone in that bus was like, you're a real bastard. Because I was eating a McDonald's hamburger that's been sitting in there for like nearly 6 weeks, and they were like, "I hope you get food poisoning." You know what I didn't get? Food poisoning, which makes me worse.
No,
Now
okay.
looking back on it, I'm worried.
Everyone, okay, here's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, McDonald's, it's not real food. Like, it can go an entire year without refrigeration and it's still good. Like, what are you putting in your body? All of those things are true. But in my mind, it's like, these are benefits, not bugs, right? Like, the perfect nutrient source that tastes just as good on day 365 as it does on day one. Like, our scientists have done.
This is a feature, not a bug,
right? It's a work of modern engineering, and I think we should be more proud of that, right? Like, shelf stable food that can just exist outside of packaging for maybe forever. I don't know. Like, to me, why would I not want that to be a part of me? Like, basically, if your stomach can survive a steady diet of McDonald's, I am convinced you'll live forever, or you'll die extremely young of a coronary heart attack. But I have not died yet, and so there's no proof that I actually ever will die, right? Like, it's only theoretically I might die, but right now I am immortal based on science, and I attribute that to my steady diet of banana-flavored cigars and McDonald's.
I hate this so much. I hate this so much.
You can't disprove it, right? You can't. There's science.
James Hunter might be immortal. He might be immortal. I do, actually. You know what? I'm team magic all day. I'm anti-science.
The quantum physics is just having a shit right now. It's just because if you look at quantum physics, there is a chance. It's not a 0% chance. Well, it's like 0 point a lot of zeros and then 1.
But not a non-zero chance is the point.
No.
I do think my favorite thing about the universe is that it behaves differently depending on whether or not you're looking at it.
Yes.
That might be the funniest thing. Like, haha, you will never know.
It's so wild. And the craziest thing is that I can't confirm this is true because, again, the universe changes under observation. But I do suspect that when the universe is not being observed, it's actually a McDonald's cheeseburger. I mean, it only makes sense. It's the underlying foundational truth of the universe. The one thing that cannot decay and cannot change. It's one state, indivisible by itself. The McDonald's double cheeseburger. That's it. And that is actually the foundational building block of all reality. But you won't know it because you can't observe it. And therefore, you can't prove that it's not a McDonald's cheeseburger, which is the real rub.
James, I don't know that you're going to be able to escape absurdist fantasy anytime soon. Because that's the most discount. That's the most discount Dan thing I've ever heard in my life. Where he goes to that Burger King in the sky.
He finds out it was actually burgers supporting the world all the way down. It's not turtles. It's just cheeseburgers, guys. The perfect food. Did
you see the thing that everyone's been making fun of where the McDonald's CEO revealed their new burger? Yeah. Where he couldn't make himself call it a burger. He called it the product. And then he took like the world's tiniest little nibble of it.
This is our newest product. It's bread product and meat product with cheese product and a little lettuce product. And boy, it's really big. And like, I don't even know how to attack this. I'll probably get my auditor to figure out a way to avoid this altogether. Like, I have never seen a dude who is so obviously never held a cheeseburger in his entire life. Again, I am not sponsored by McDonald's. I'm not totally angling for a McDonald's sponsorship. But McDonald's, if you put me in front of the camera with that cheeseburger, like the things I will do and the way I will demolish it would leave the internet in shock. Like, come on. We can do better than this, folks.
I don't want to see what you can do with that mouth. But in other news, did you see what Burger King's CEO did as a he does the side angle to just show how far he can get it down his throat before he takes a bite. And I was like,
there's some Burger King going on in this conversation
for this.
Might not be appropriate for YouTube, Michael Chatfield.
Burger King, Wendy's, A&W, all their CEOs have come out and done a video doing it. I actually, James, you should do this because I've been doing it, but I've been thinking about like recreating it, but with a book, being like, this is my newest writing product. As you can see, it is lovely, and just hold it like, upside down, like.
I love that. And then the obvious conclusion at the end is that you have to take a bite out of it because that's what you do. I mean, that's the logical conclusion of that video. Just, it's, you are a marketing genius. Okay, so we've already talked a lot of trash about Michael Chatfield, and now let's say very positive things about Andrew Givler, who's obviously deserving of it. No, but like, dude, you are so multi-talented in so many things. Like the fact that you're like, I like a million plus subscribers on YouTube, and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna like be a writer, and then you do it. Like, you're so good at so many things. It is genuinely amazing.
Do you know that he swims?
What?
He was a state level swimmer?
Yeah. I
Get out of here.
Yeah. My claim to fame is I raced Michael Phelps once. That was it didn't go very well, but I did it.
I have seen that man in the flesh, and
it's something, dude. And it was also, so I raced him a year before Beijing, so a year before he went to win 8 gold medals. So I was like 17, he was like 22, and he was like absolute unbelievable prime, and I was like,
dude, that's like, I mean, that's such an unfair comparison. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's like Usain Bolt, but in this case, you're Usain Bolt against the Roadrunner, right? Like, Usain Bolt is inhumanly fast, but the Roadrunner is the Roadrunner. He has the Toon Force. Even the fastest man on the planet, Andrew Givler, is not going to be able to compete with Toon Force of a guy whose chest is like evolutionarily evolved to swim. Like, it's
there were a few people in between us. Like, it wasn't him first, me second, but sure,
okay. This is way to humble brag, here, but like, Andrew, we know what happened there, okay?
But also,
I
don't know if Usain Bolt and the Daredevil is really the maybe like Usain
That's
Bolt,
a different
the
guy
that can only turn left, is more accurate for the comparison.
Are you Zoolander?
Is
this a Zoolander bit? Oh my god. What I mean, again,
all right, we're not
the black lung and I got the black lung.
The ink lung.
I got the black lung. Yeah, the ink lung. Full circle. We did it.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes.
Oh, there's many circles to go, my friend.
What is this? A school for ants? How are children supposed to read? Like, it's so dumb. It's so brilliant. And also, I'm a big Will Ferrell stan. And by the way, Aaron Michael Ritchie will deny it all the way, but like, Aaron Michael Ritchie, both like in the physicality and the presence of Aaron Michael Ritchie, big Will Ferrell energy. But he's so good.
Sure. Yeah,
he's like Will Ferrell is so funny, and he's funny in a lot of things. But man, that whole movie is just an underrated gem. Also, we can't talk about it because we'll get banned. But Ben Stiller. In Tropic Thunder, like, I recently did a Tropic Thunder rewatch, and just one of the funniest movies, like, maybe ever. And like, just there's no possible way. Like, there's so many things wrong with that movie, with the premise of that movie, with RDJ doing blackface. Like, there's just so many things wrong with that movie, but also like it really captures the spirit of the late 90s, early 2000s. It's great.
Tom Cruise just dancing.
Dude,
man.
That is my favorite Les Grossman. Tom Cruise's Les Grossman is my favorite character that Tom Cruise has ever done, and it's not even close. Like, I'd say I scream.
All the Mission Impossibles.
Oh, yeah, not even close. Like, I scream.
Oh, come on. Maverick, dude. Maverick is number one.
Yeah. Dude. We circle back around to that because there are things to talk about Maverick, but
okay, I'm down.
But the scene where he's screaming at the terrorist, and he's like, I will not say it because it's so profane, lad, and I don't want to get you demonetized on YouTube. But his scorched earth thing, like, I probably yelled at someone once a week, like that. It's just. Like, it is the best thing, man. His best performance.
Authors who missed their deadlines at Shadow Alley.
Yeah. It's all good-natured fun until
you miss your deadline.
You know, that's just that's the way it is.
Jeanette presses the red button on the desk, and then out it comes.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I don't even because it's just so profane, but so funny. It's so good. So
just
good.
The dance, Les Grossman's dance at the end.
Yep, the dance is so good.
Oh,
I heard an interview.
You know how he fought for that?
Yeah,
role,
tell
right?
it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
He's like, okay. He like gets a script, I guess, and then he's like, oh, well, he's going to be like this, and he's going to be like this, and he's probably going to be a little bit like this. I'm going to play him. And it was just the director, like, I don't know if he had just brought over the script or something, or somehow that Tom Cruise had got this, and he basically, like, talked him through what the character was going to be, and by the end of it, he was like, I'm going to play this role. He was just like, there was no question. There was like, that's mine.
Yeah, but the dancing
for me,
the dancing was not in the script, and like Tom Cruise was like, I will do this, but only under the condition that I can dance really weird. And they're like, what's the okay? So like, is that going to be like a thing or like a bit? He's like, no, it's going to be a core part of this character. He's going to dance, and he has to have really big hairy hands. These are non-negotiables for me. So if you let me dance as weird as I want, and you give me the big hairy hands, I'm in. Like, which is just like such a strange ask. But then when you actually see it, it's like, man, Tom Cruise might be a genius. Like, he might legitimately be a genius.
Dude doesn't miss very often.
No.
Okay. So.
Michael goes, no.
And on that note, again, we're circling back around. Maverick, dude.
Top Gun 2. It's so good.
It was so good, and like it was such a fan service movie. But I honestly and I really enjoyed it. And I think like there's a lot of movies in Hollywood that would like do well to learn the lesson of Maverick, because like it is exactly the same thing again, and it just they gave fans exactly like the entire premise of the movie is like, Tom Cruise, you're too old to do this mission. Train a bunch of young pilots to be your replacement. And you're like, he's grown up. It's the mentor arc. And then like you get like 2/3 through the movie, and then it's like, all of you young people suck too much. And so I, Tom Cruise, will fly the mission instead. And I'm like sitting in the seat, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, he's like 60 years old in this movie. There's no way that Tom Cruise is going to be the one to fly the mission. Like, the whole movie has been about how he's too old for this and not good enough, and he's training the replacements. And then it's like, actually, it was just a twist to show you that I'm really the best. And that I did do it by myself because no one else could. And America rocks. And I'm like, nailed it. You nailed it, Tom Cruise.
And then I will get in an F-14 and they will play Highway to the Danger Zone. And you know what? You got me.
Yeah.
And James is just like out there just like.
Yeah.
Yep.
I felt it in my soul. I felt it in my soul.
Oh.
It's funny you were saying that, and I realized that it's sort of written like a progression fantasy, right? Right? Tom Cruise never loses, and he always levels up a little bit.
Always.
It's just a progression fantasy deep down. He unlocks a new ability.
Like even though it's completely implausible, and like all of the other pilots are like the haughty young masters who think they're better than Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise like he slaps them down. I mean, it's like an amazing work of cinema.
Okay, but none of them have as much real dogfighting experience as him. That's like the whole point. Okay,
that is
like
true.
He's the last of the dogfight, right? Okay, like so like if you think about it, experience. I don't really.
So, it sounds like I'm being facetious right now. Like I kind of backhandedly complimenting Maverick, but I am not. Like, I genuinely enjoyed this movie, and even though
I love
there
that
were
movie.
so many like left turns that it was like, this is like, no, there's no way they would lean into it this hard. But then they lean into it, and I'm like, bro, you had the courage to make this choice, and I am here for you. Like, I will be your goose. I will ride with you to the end, Tom Cruise.
Don't be.
But also the whole promise. Yeah, true. Yeah. Be Rooster. The whole premise of the movie is that they're just training to do the Death Star trench run.
That's the whole thing. Like, but again, they're like, hey, what's really popular? Death Star trench run, and they're like, what if we just did that, but with Tom Cruise, and exactly everything else is the same as Top Gun, and it's like, I mean, this is a formula for absolute success. How could you fail with these elements? And then it did not fail.
I'm in.
Yeah. And then the Star Wars people are looking at the Top Gun people, and they're like,
No, different movie.
Good. Yeah. Let's go for this.
If
That's how you get crossovers, folks.
And again, I'm not, because there are too many like Star Wars like stands that will flame war me. I will say that I'm not, like, I have no critique on them, but I will say, if Star Wars had just like leaned into what Maverick had done, and they're like, okay, we're gonna just give you exactly more of the same cool thing that you want, but like different and in a new era. Here we go again. Like, like everyone would have ate that up. Like that's what they wanted to see.
Yeah, we
know
what they want to have.
Oh yeah, everybody does. Well, I say everybody does, but clearly not everybody.
Clearly not everyone, yeah.
No, I think, but like, and I think that this is a big, like, it's because we're in that, like, an adjacent industry. We're not filmmakers, but, and I think that this is a thing that writers do frequently as well. It's a very easy trap to fall into, where, you know, maybe you've written like 1 or 2 or 3 books that have done like well, and you're going to write book 4, and you think, well, I've already done that, and I've already done that, and I've already done that, so I need to do something really different, because I don't want people to think that I'm just like a one-trick pony and I'm just doing the same thing again. And so they'll like really change it up, and they'll go in a really new direction, but that's not what you promise people. Like, in a lot of ways, going back to McDonald's, like readers, they just want a cheeseburger, man. Like, and they want their flavor of cheeseburger, and then they want you to give them that. And then like when like if you've served them 3 really good cheeseburgers, and then they're like, oh man, it's been a week since I've had McDonald's, I want the cheeseburger. And you're like, okay, well, you're gonna love this. It's chicken, and it's on a tofu bun, and also it's in a bowl of soup. And they're like, what is this? Why are you giving this to me? I just want the thing that you promised me in the first 3 books. And so I think there's this balancing of expectations of, we get bored, we want to do a new thing, and yet at the same time, our readers, like, they like the thing that we've already given them a bunch of, and they want more of that, and maybe variations on that, but they want the premise that you sold them on initially, and it's really easy as authors to get in our own way and think, no, we need to change up the formula and do it different this time, because otherwise, you know, the readers are going to get bored, and they're like, they want change. That only works if you are Pierce Brown. Pierce Brown is the only person on the planet who can open a trilogy with a Magic Academy book, and in the second book, you're like, oh, so it's going to be Magic Academy, but in Starfleet. And then it's like, no, we're opening at the end of the Starfleet Academy, and he loses. And then it's completely different, and we're never doing Academy stuff again. And the third book, that's different too, right? Like, he is the only person who can get away with it, because he is so good. I have a lot of the same gripes with Pierce Brown as I do with Michael Chatfield, which is, again, younger, handsomer, more successful. Like, right out of the gate, he wrote a book that like changed the genre. Like, it was like his first attempt. Like, he wasn't even trying to like, just do this book, I guess, and it'll be like one of the best-selling series in the world. And the gall to end all galls is that I hate first-person present tense, and he wrote it so good, he actively made me like a thing that I dislike, and I was like, the audacity of this man to be this talented, unparalleled. Just unparalleled. But yeah, so unless you're Pierce Brown, like, you kind of do a thing, and you stick with the thing until the end of the thing, and if you want to do a new thing, you start a new series. And like, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, who would ever write in first person present? Only idiots.
I enjoyed your book despite first person present tense. I will say
God,
that I like the first like 6 chapters. I was like, I don't know if I can do it. It's first person present tense. And then I was like, no. This is for my friend. I will endure. And like once I like got through my initial revulsion of the style in which you write, I really did enjoy the book and the story of the prose. But like it did take me a little while of like dedicated commitment because of our friendship to like to build up
a sale is a sale. I'll take it.
First person present tense to get through it.
This mercenary over here. All right. All right, give me a second. Otherwise, I'm gonna explode. I need to hit the button again.
So we are back. Michael Chatfield has very little bladder control, as it turns out, and so
terrible internet. Two things I hate most about Michael Chatfield.
The internet killed me more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, spice cider.
This is. I can't believe that this is a podcast with an intermission. We had to take a pee break.
No. It's we're like really committed to the bit. We're like in this for the long haul. So while we were waiting for Michael Chatfield's internet to work, I was talking with Andrew. So this is following on the fact that I said I hate first person present tense, and his book is in first person present tense, and I did have to endure the first like 6 chapters out of The Power of Friendship. But once my immune system had adapted to first person present tense, it is a phenomenal book. It's really a phenomenal book, despite first person present tense holding it back slightly. And I totally get it. I totally get it because there is an immediacy to first person present tense, especially in the action. But we were talking about his book, and I was telling him, I was like, dude, it was a super gutsy take, because I've read a lot of progression fantasy, and like in most progression fantasy, there's even like really action adventure ones, like there's a fair amount of slice of life, and usually it's like the MC is awesome and wins a lot, and occasionally loses, but not very often. And usually, even when he does lose, it's only so that he can win bigger later on. And so like when I was reading Andrew's book, I like came into it with the expectation of like, this is going to be like progression fantasy. And Andrew systematically proceeded to kick his main character and all of his characters in the teeth over and over again until it was just that meme of like, stop it, he's dead already. And I was just like, cowering in the corner like, no, Andrew, why are you doing this? But I kept thinking in the back of my mind, like Chekhov's gun, I was like, no, this is progression fantasy. So yes, we're 2/3 into the book, and literally nothing good has happened to this guy ever, the whole time. But like Chekhov's gun progression fantasy, it's a setup for something amazing to happen. And so like I just kept waiting with the expectation of it's coming. The payoff is going to be so cool. And like, yeah, all these bad things are happening, but so it's like he can like ascend to deityhood or something, like you have passed the tribulation of ascension and you are worthy. But no, like he just gets throat chopped the entire book. And it is phenomenal, but I was not prepared for the level of eye gouging and throat chopping that happens from pretty much page 1 until the end.
I'd say like chapter 6 is when it starts. You're like, hey, what's going on here? What's going on here? Oh, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm a bad man. I wrote the first couple chapters to literally be like, look, we're having so much fun. It's a Magic Academy. Great time, everybody.
Yeah, and then you take them out, not at the knees, the hips.
Yeah,
they bleed out faster.
I did underestimate. It's funny. I come into progression fantasy and LitRPG, I think, from like an unusual, or maybe a very usual reading path, but unusual from a lot of the people who write it, which is that like I haven't read a lot of translated novels. I'm not big on the serials, right? I grew up reading trad fantasy. And then I encountered Cradle, and I was like, this is great, right? Will White was like, whoop, you should come over here. And then I read Bryce O'Connor's, Stormweaver. And those two, I think, are also sort of very different from a lot of the rest of the genre in their own ways. And so to me, that became the foundation of how I thought about progression fantasy. And then as I started reading deeper, I was like, oh, actually, these guys are very different. But that was sort of like how it had been constructed in my head. And so when I wanted to write a progression fantasy, I took the things I liked from the books I was more familiar with, which are not necessarily progression, and I put them together with the elements of progression I really liked. And those ones are not nearly a slice of life or successful. Nobody's having a good time. And
you said kind of in our intermission while we were waiting for Chatfield.
Oh, the Jim Butcher school of thought where Harry Dresden's having a bad day and then it gets worse.
Yes.
Right. Usually,
it's his scene and sequel. I like the
Yeah.
idea, which like traces back to Deborah Wright, and it's that the writing was it the fantasy writing
The
formula, was
fantasy
the
fiction
vintage of,
formula.
like,
yeah.
Deborah Chester, that's it, and she writes it, and then Jim Butcher. You know the story of this, right? With Deborah Chester.
Yeah. It was his like college or master's project, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, I know how to write this. I can write it better than you. And then she was like, look, just do this and do it for a thing, and then just like let me know how it goes. And he was like, I'll teach you. I will do this, and it will not be that good. And that's how Dresden Files was born.
The other part of that story is she also, I think he misunderstood an assignment where he was supposed to do an outline, and instead of outlining the book, he outlined the entire series. So he has an outline that he just deviated from. The most recent book was the first book that has deviated from the outline, which was like him inserting because he just needed a little more room. But like all of it has been, all of it has been more or less outlined. I mean, I'm sure there's been changes, but like generally speaking, since then, 98 or something like that.
Now, I do want to say for the viewing audience, and again, this is not an aside. You can hear this. Despite the fact that like there are injustices in Andrew's book that like made me want to yeet it across the room because I'm like, the universe is so unfair. But like, it is amazing. Like it is such an amazing story. The characters are so. They feel vibrant and fleshed out, and the prose is awesome. The fight scenes are awesome. The progression fantasy elements are awesome. But you just have to know going into it that like
we're not gonna have
Andrew
a good time.
Givler is a cruel god. Like very Old Testament, lots of wrath. You know, there's no New Testament love thy neighbor.
This is coming from the man who wrote Viridian Gate Online.
Things that happen to my characters. Generally speaking, bad things happen, but like good guys win and bad guys lose. Like that's like the formula for all of my books is eventually good guys win, bad guys lose. And in Andrew Givler's book, I don't know.
Actually, hey, whoa, I got room to work with. Okay, the story's not done.
Yo, if it's not my book too, we need that pay. Need that pay.
We'll see.
Know what? I
think he has to win, but just like. Give him a nice steak dinner, man. Just like let him treat himself to a date night or like anything, just anything to break the soul-crushing injustice of the universe itself turning against him at every conceivable turn.
One of my favorite, first of all,
like, this from a man who would go to Waffle House, have the steak and be like, oh man, that was a delicious dinner. Well, everyone stares at you being like, it's 4 a.m. and there's a fucking tornado outside, and you're like, beautiful day.
I'm going to say this right now, Michael Chatfield, because I love you. You don't want to cross Waffle House or the people who eat there. There are a lot of places on the internet where you can talk shit all you want, but Waffle House and its patrons is not the community you want to tangle with.
Yeah, how dare you, Michael Chatfield?
You know who's
Michael Chatfield does not represent the views of this unnamed podcast, okay?
And for all the Waffle House fans out there, I am one of you, and I do not endorse the statements of this man or his slander against an American institution of the highest repute.
Have you drank waffle batter before?
I've never drank waffle batter.
Okay. Well, just checking. You know,
this must be a Canadian thing.
The bar is.
Yeah.
I think this is a Canadian thing. Is what it is.
I'm growing increasingly concerned.
No. If you're concerned now, buddy.
I said increasingly.
Yeah, it's fair.
I was gonna say something. I don't remember. Oh, I was gonna say my favorite trope is heroes rising to face odds that they don't understand.
Yeah,
which is what I see Ironbound as, right? Like, if the conflict is completely, if you understand it completely in the first book, it is not a big enough threat. So Ironbound is about a young man who is encountering the first like turbulence of the way that the world is after not knowing, And it's him persevering as he punches his way deeper to really find out like what he's encountering. And I love that like discovery.
And he's continually punching above his weight class, and in that way, it is very Cradle, right? Like where it's like you have the power scaling and the escalation of powers. But in Cradle, it always feels like bad things happen to Lyndon, but like he is punching above his weight class, but it always feels like there's a degree of parity. Like I feel like if a lot of progression fantasy characters have plot armor, your characters have whatever the reverse of that is. I don't know.
I don't want it to feel safe, because that's why he needs, like, you need to be stronger because it's not safe.
Yeah. Well, and again, this is not. I loved the book, and I think
I don't feel criticized.
But you do well in that regard. I never felt safe or comfortable or happy. Like I felt mad for the characters. I was like, this is bullshit. Like how dare this censor do this, and they're gonna split the heart. Like this is what? This is garbage. How dare you? And this, like, there are so many things that I was like, this is not his fault. You be nice to him, and they're not ever nice to him. Like they are intentionally mean to him, even though he deserves good things to happen. And it just enraging. Andrew Givler.
Book two's gonna be fun. Book two's gonna be fun.
It's by fun. You mean like
for me,
water drip torture on the soul? Then yes, I imagine it will be. If book one is anything to go off of.
I love book two.
Go up to a stream almost, like a slow trickle. But no, James, we've talked a lot about all of our stuff. We haven't talked about like your stuff, because you're a damn good guy. Because like, I remember, and I have heard several stories from people of like they started out doing this thing, and they were like, I really started out doing this thing. Actually, I'm going to steal a story from someone. Someone was like, hey, I'm not sure what to do with this thing. I have something that's coming out, and I have another thing that I really want to work on, and I'm not, like, I'm a new author, and I'm not sure myself of what to do in this period of time. And you were like, hey, man, I have to go to a thing right now, but I'll come and chat to you later. You free later today? And he was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. And he fully expected that you were not going to talk to him again, because he was used to jobs where no one's going to come talk to him again. And you came and talked to him. You were doing a writing sprint. I actually saw this as I walked in past the room, and I was with him at the time. And you stood up and you're like, hey, man, sorry to interrupt. Do you have some time that you wanted to talk about the thing that we were talking about earlier? And he was like, he's like, I don't want to bother you. And you're like, no, man, let's have a talk. Because I feel that there's been so many authors you've had this kind of talk to. You had to talk with him. And that led to him, one, creating a series that allowed him to go from a job that he was not enjoying to he's a full-time author now. And then when he was looking to transition from a part-time author to a full-time author, he listened to his father. His father he's very, very close to. He's like, hey, man, when do you think I should become full-time? And his dad was like, you should be full-time right now. And he's like, no. I'm going to go listen to James Hunter. Because James Hunter told me that sometimes you do book one, and you got to write it out a little bit to see what the success is before you can say, okay, this is a definite thing. And so he quit his job, and he was going on the train to go home, and he was full of this worry and everything. And you sent him a text message. And that text message was, hey, buddy, I think it's time to leave your job. And he's like, it broke me. Because that was the thing that I was waiting for, was for James Hunter to tell me that. And when James Hunter told me that, I knew it. And it was like this progression of a very, very new author to now an author that actually is very seasoned in our area. But that is, I know at least stories from 7 to 10 people that are in this similar vein, right? Yeah.
Did it to me too.
Yeah. And like, so you've had like so much time for people coming up and being like, hey man, I'm not sure about this thing. And like, I think one of the things that I love about you, James, is that you always work to be as approachable as possible to everyone, and to be like, hey, if I can carve out 10 minutes, I will give you those 10 minutes. Like, you're a very busy dude, you've got a ton of stuff going on, you got your own publishing company, you've got your own writing, and it's like, that's a ton, and you got a family yourself, and you still make the time. And it's like, to this extent,
you're gonna make me blush. I don't handle compliments well. I'm gonna melt through the couch, but thank you, Michael.
It's fair. It's only fair because you've been doling them out too much. You gotta take some.
It's a deflection mechanism, Andrew Givler.
You will accept our love, James.
Yeah. But there's two sayings that I hear so much in the community of LitRPG, and I attribute both of them to actually you. And the two sayings is, and it's kind of funny because if you say this, so to everyone else, if you say these two things to any LitRPG author, they will just repeat them back to you.
Wait, can I say one of them? I think I can guess one of them.
Go for it.
Is one of them a rising tide lifts all ships?
Boom.
Yeah. The James Hunterism. I don't know if I know the other one though.
The other one is don't be a dick. Rule 1.
Yeah.
Rule 2 is rising tides rise all ships. And James has been touting that for as long as I've known you. And coming back full circle, James
just circling back, just a little circle, just a little figure eight.
He's Mewtwo because when I met James, I had never actually seen a picture of James. So we were at Dragon Con and we just finished setting up the booth or whatever. And this giant fucking 6'4" ginger motherfucker with a crew cut walks out of the shadows, is like, hey guys, are you Dakota Crowd? Are you Michael Chatfield? And we're like, yeah? Who the fuck are you?
Are we in trouble?
And then he's like, I'm James Hunter. And we're like, okay. And it was first of all, we had no idea what we were doing with that booth at that time. And then James came in and he was like, as nicely as possible, and he didn't say this at all. He was like, well, this is terrible, but we're gonna fix this. And I got a pitch from James of I was doing this long spiel about Emerillia to try and sell it to people, and he's like, it's the Matrix in video games. And I was like, I'm gonna steal that. He's like, please do, because I think at that point his brain was like, brother, I have been hearing you tell the story in long format like you're the fucking city yodeler in the middle of the fucking aisle. Just tell them it's the Matrix in fantasy.
Well,
and I was like,
I remember that concept. Again, this was early days, before anyone had heard of LitRPG. And Ramon was there. He was one of the authors. And Ramon had literature, trifold brochures about LitRPG and what it was. And so people will come by the booth and you'd be like, have you heard about LitRPG? And he's handing them brochures. And I'm I was like, bro, they're going to think we're an occult. There's no way they don't think that we're an occult. You got to stop handing out the literature. And so early on when people didn't know about LitRPG, I was like, hey, don't even tell them what that is. Your stories are good. And the fact that they have game mechanics is not the selling point. Just I'd be like, hey, this is fantasy with a sci-fi gamer twist. And that's it. And then just tell them about this. Tell them about the story. Tell them about the characters. Keep your pitch short. And don't get bogged down in this thing that they don't understand and won't understand. Don't do that. That's not helping us. But yeah, I remember that convention extraordinarily well. It was very sweet. We were all very naive and young and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I tried to hug Travis Bagwell, which is when I learned that Travis is definitely not a hugger. He is a businessman doing business things. So I love him to pieces. But yeah, he is not a hugger. That is not his thing. And I learned that after trying to really wrap him up in a big squeeze.
Yeah, no, that was
so funny.
It was so awkward. Like you could just see the
Yeah.
here's my hand. That is the thing you may touch.
Yeah.
I remember James looking at me and being like, do you know anybody here? Do you know what you're doing? And I was like, no. And he was like, well, I can fix that. And just led me around the room like a Pied Piper and was like, here's Michael Chatfield. Here's this person. And I was just like, okay. I'm following this guy now.
I love, and again, this is part of the reason why like we started a publishing company. A lot of people have asked like, why did you start this? Did you always know you wanted to run a publishing company? Like, no, I didn't. Like, that's not why. It's still not really the reason why I started a publishing company. I started a publishing company for one person who was my friend. So Eden Hudson, who co-authored Rogue Dungeon with me, we were like in the word minds, writing buddies from the get-go, right? Like we were like, from the very early days, we were like exchanging manuscripts, and like she was my alpha reader and I was her alpha reader. And I was a big fan of her work, and I loved her. She's an awesome person. And I had sort of like, you know, there's some skill involved of, you know, writing a good book and doing the marketing and doing the sweat equity to get people to talk about it. But there's also like a huge element of luck. And anyone who says there's not a huge element of luck, of just like being in the right place at the right time with the right thing, like there is, and that is.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it had kind of come together for me. And so I had happened to have success. And you know, part of it was my own work, but part of it was just like right place, right time. But we did capitalize on it. And Jeanette had come on board and had taken over a lot of the business at that point, which was the best move. Marrying up. If you want to be successful as a writer, just marry someone who is way above you. Like just like swing way out of your league and get someone who is smarter and more capable than you to run your business. And that's like the number one thing you can do to be successful, if I'm going to be honest.
Get right on that.
Yeah. But, you know,
You're the Last of Us, buddy.
I know.
we had sort of become like accidental publishing experts. And I was reading this book that she had written. And I was like, dude, this is the best thing you've ever written. I love this so much. Like, when are you going to release it? And she's like, well, probably not for a year. And I was like, why? It's so good. Like you should put this out tomorrow. Like, everyone needs to read this. And she's like, well, you know, my last couple books have kind of flopped and I don't have the money for it. And so, you know, we're going to have to save up, and you know, got to find a new editor. It's just, we don't have the money for it. And I was like, you should just let us do it. Like, just let me do it. Like, I'll do it for you. Like, you know, we have the money now, and like we've become accidental publishing experts. Let me just do it for you. And she's like, are you sure this is like a huge commitment? And I was like, dude, I love you. I love your art. Your art deserves to exist in the world. And that was it. Like, I started a publishing company to just help my friend out because their art was awesome. And I thought their art should exist in the world, even if she couldn't afford at that time to pay for it to be in the world. And that was the only reason why I did it. For a long time, that was it. Like, Aethon is great. They're a giant, a titan in the space. They have an enormous stable of authors, and they put out a lot of really awesome books, and they are a great company. We are much, much, much smaller than Aethon, but that is by design. My goal was never to create a publishing company to shake the heavens. Like, I just started a publishing company to like help out my friends who are like really good writers, but not really great business people. And that's kind of, it's never really changed. It's like, I'm still just like I find a person at a con who I love, and I'm like, dude, you're awesome. I love you. And then I'll read their book and I'm like, oh my God, your art is so good. And that's it. Like, it's just, you know, we always keep it small because it's just me trying to help out my friends because I want them to be successful. And it's not completely altruistic. I am a deeply lonely man, and not easily likable or even lovable. So I think that if I have to make
offers, that, right? Did you hear
I think that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. James Hunter's the most universally liked man in LitRPG. That's an insane statement.
Deeply lonely. And so I was like, if I have to just make them bestsellers so they can hang out with me in cool places, I guess that's just the price I'll pay. So like, it's, you know, that's kind of what I get out of it, is like, I get to help writers have the coolest job on the planet. And then I get to like hang out with my buddies in cool places and like talk about stories and drink beers and eat paella and have birds poop on us together. Like, that is priceless. That's it. That's the entire reason why we run a publishing company is because I love people and I want to help people. And I love my friends and I want them all to be successful so they can do cool things and make cool art. That's it. Like that's the whole thing.
Now you know a little something about James Hunter.
And even apart from that, like, because, we're small, we don't have the staff that some of the other publishers have, because again, we're small intentionally, because I like that. I don't want to do what Aethon is doing, even as cool as it is. Like, that's not my goal. It's not my headspace. But I still want to help authors out, and even brand new authors. Like I've written like almost 50 books and sold, I don't know, 1.5 million copies or more than that, maybe close to 2. And yet at the same time, I can recognize that I was once a dude who knew absolutely nothing about publishing, and just like, I want to help people, man. And so even like the brand newest, greenest author who has not even written a book, and they're working on the first paragraph of their first draft, and they want to come and talk to me about publishing or talk to me about books, I will go out of my way to make sure that they feel welcomed in our space, that they have a chance to hear whatever inane wisdom I can shotgun into their faces, and just like give them some time to know, like, hey, like, you're not doing this alone, man. Like, it's hard and sometimes it's tough, but like, just stick with it and persevere and learn and grow, and like, you got this, man. So yeah, I will go out of my way to really make an effort to make time for absolutely anyone at any stage of the game, because I like people, and I like enabling people to do cool things. That's fun. It makes me feel good, and it does, like, it brings good things into the world. I love that.
Well, as someone who has benefited greatly from your willingness to do this, there are many disciples of the Hunters who are very grateful for your service.
No, man, you guys are doing the good thing. You're like spreading the word and helping people and doing the pod. No, you guys are it. You guys are bros, and I love you.
But I think it is, your deflection aside, is get that out of here. But no,
get it out of here.
It's really freaking cool, man. Like, I wonder how many books, like how many authors, how many books have been directly published because of the efforts of yourself and your publishing company. Like, because the other thing is that the majority of people that you talk to, I don't know how many probably don't do anything with it. So that can be really disheartening.
Yeah.
But it's really incredible. And like, this is to you, Andrew, of like, when someone actually takes that information and then executes on it, is so rewarding, because yes. I don't know, like, I couldn't even make up a number right now off the top of my head of like how many people you go through that you give that information to, and the very, very few people that actually go and do something on it. And the other thing is that at the end of the day, like, you're like, if you need my help to publish, I would love to, but you're never like, you have to publish with me. And
no.
Been,
yeah, no.
And like, it's never been that thing. And so it's just been like, I'm James, and I want to have better books and good people in this genre. And you have done that for nearly a decade now, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shadow Alley is a decade long, almost a decade. So I've been indie publishing for 11 years now, full time. And next year will be Shadow Alley's 10th year of publishing, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, like, it's not for me, it's not transaction. And sometimes, like, I will talk authors out of publishing with us, because like they'll come to me and they're like, no, I really want you guys to do it. And I'll be like, dude, I don't think we're a value add at this point. Like, you already have a big enough platform, you have a big enough presence. Like, indie publishing is totally viable, and indie publishing is not right for everybody. But for you, with the numbers you have and the platform you have and the metrics you have, like, this is a slam dunk. You can do this yourself. I'll even walk you through the steps of doing it yourself. I'll hold your hand the whole way, because we're only going to partner with someone if we genuinely feel we're going to be a value add and it's a good fit. This reminds me of, so another really good friend of mine is Dakota Kraut, who I love to pieces. And so for those who don't know, again, a side note here, but Michael Chatfield, Aaron Michael Ritchie, and Dakota Kraut and I have a monthly support group. We call it Man Love Mondays, and it's once a month on Mondays. We get together.
The official title.
Yeah, that's the Man Love Mondays, and we get together on Zoom and we just like talk, and it's like emotional support. We like talk about writing, and we just like hang out, and like Chatfield's sharing about his wedding plans, and it's very sweet and wholesome. So we have a small little group, but I love Dakota Kraut. Is your mind blown right now?
No, this is how I'm finding out that Michael Chatfield has another writing support group different than the one I'm in with him that he also started.
Bro, I'm in like 5. I need a lot of support.
Yeah,
support group philanderer.
Yeah, no,
Michael
this is
Chatfield.
This is like finding out you're the character from Fight Club who's going to all the different support groups because.
Bro, you just gotta double up on that.
Michael Chatfield is literally a harem OP.
Yeah, no, that's so funny.
But it's just support groups.
Ours is me, Michael, Seth Ring, Cahill, Brian Nordon, and Andy Peliquin.
That Michael Chatfield, he gets around. Guys.
Hey, if I can
that's
believe
so
it, I can
funny.
find you.
Unbelievable, Michael Chatfield.
Unbelievable. That's so funny.
Okay, but aside from Chatfield's support group infidelities, which are many, I am finding out. Going back to Dakota, guys, I love Dakota, and we've been friends a long time, which is weird because like not only do we write in the same genre, but in theory we are competitors, right? Because he and Danielle, his wife, run Mountain Dale, which is another publishing company that publishes LitRPG and progression fantasy, and they do a great job. So in theory, like we should be in competition, but we've never really been in competition. We love each other, we talk all the time. But one of the greatest stories of like someone following through is Dakota Kraut. And so the thing that I always tell people is that I will tell you anything that you want to know. Like it's a completely open book. I will tell you all of the secrets, because the thing is, even if I tell you all of the secrets, you still have to do the work. And that's the real secret. And 99% of people, even if you tell them the exact things they need to do, they're just not going to do it. So at Dragon Con, and this was like the first Dragon Con, I had done a panel, and I had come out afterwards, and it was like a marketing panel. It was something. I can't remember the exact thing, but there were a lot of questions. So I was like out in the hallway afterwards, and I had like a group of like bright-eyed young, prospective LitRPG authors. And they were all asking me these questions. And there's probably like 20 of them. And Dakota Kraut was just starting out. He had just written a couple of the first few Divine Dungeon books. And he was there and he was asking questions too. And I was telling like this entire group of people all of these things and what they should, like, hey, this is what you should do. And this is how you optimize. And this is how you scale. And this is how you build SOPs. And this is how you, like, these are all of the things that you can do to optimize your chances for success in this industry. And a year later, come back to Dragon Con. None of those people came back except Dakota Kraut. And Dakota Kraut came back and he said, man, I can't thank you enough. I listened to the things you said. I put them into practice, and it absolutely changed my life. And so we hit it off. Like he was still building. They just started Mountain Dale at this point. I was like, dude, I want to hear more about it. Let's talk about it. He's like, yeah, we're still struggling with this and this. I'm like, dude, come to dinner with us. We have a reservation at a nice steak dinner. And he was like, oh man, I would love to, but like, I don't like, we're still struggling a little bit financially. I can't afford to go to the steak dinner. And he was like, so earnest about it. I was like, dude, no, I invited you. It's my treat. Come. And he was like, I really would, but I don't have a dress shirt. So I can't go to this place because it's too nice. So I brought him back to my hotel room. And this is like the second time I've met Dakota Kraut. So I brought him back to my hotel room, and I gave him a shirt, a collared shirt that he could wear to dinner so that he could come to dinner with us. And that was really kind of like the inception point for our friendship. And we just have never looked back. Like, and he is so successful, and their company is so successful. And it's really been a wonder to like watch them grow. And as he's like really come into his own, like, they give us great ideas, and this is what we're doing, and this is what we're trying. And there's like a synergy that should not exist for two companies that operate in the same space and are in theory competitors. Like, I always think like other people are like, it's like Coke and Pepsi, like the death rivalry. And like Dakota and I are like, we're like the root beer companies, right? Like Mug and A&W are never in a turf war. They're just like, hey, we're root beer. We're chilling. Like you sometimes you want Mug and sometimes you want A&W. And you know what? They're both great root beers. And we're not going to talk slander about the root beers in the house. Like we have enough problems with the Pepsis and the Cokes and the Mountain Dews. So like, I feel like we're just like the root beer boys, man. Like no drama, just doing our own thing in our own little corner of the world.
If you guys are Mug and A&W, who's Barks?
It's obviously Michael Chatfield.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why, I'm just a loud freaking bulldog.
Yeah, for some reason there's caffeine in you.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Although, like, now that I'm thinking about this in this analogy, I should probably be Barks because, like, just slightly deranged and a little unhinged and maybe too much energy. So maybe I would rework the analogy. But Michael Chatfield, he's in our trifecta for sure. We love that.
I can see it. I can see it.
But I think, and like, it's interesting. Like, one of the things that's really interesting about this genre is, and it goes back to the rising tides of all ships, is like, I've written in other genres, and like you can both speak to this, where you write in other genres and it is crickets. Like, I was writing in science fiction and I did it for 2-3 years. I was doing well, didn't know a single science fiction author. When we started writing LitRPG, and I think in the first 4 months, and like, this is back when we were using keyboards and all of that. The writers' cafe.
Keyboards, man. What a toxic dumping ground that keyboards is. But yes, back in the old days.
But we we made Facebook groups. We had that was our main ways to connect to one another and connect to our fans. And I think those two rules that I most associate with you coming out with, James, have been a cornerstone for the genre as it is right now, because there is a lot of people in this genre. But don't be a dick is a massive rule, and if someone is, then the others will know, because everyone shares information too.
Yeah, like, we all talk. It seems
that's why I switched.
What?
But it's not. That's why I switched. Right, as I was writing urban fantasy, and everyone I knew wrote LitRPG. And I had no urban fantasy friends, and all my LitRPG friends were like, here's our secrets, here's what we're doing, here's what's working, here's this. And I was like, I think I'm going to go hang out with them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I had a story that I wanted to write, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to go over here. These are the kind of people, these are my people, and where I'd like to be.
And when you find, especially like that sense of community, because like you look at LitRPG now, we've got new authors. Like, it's interesting, we have so many new authors coming in, but also the new authors are a breadth of ages, right? It's not like oh, we have like younger people are just coming in. It's like, no, we've got people who are in their 60s and their 50s and their 40s and their 30s and their 20s, some who are in their teens. Funny story, because I think there was one company who signed an author, and then someone was like to the person who ran that company, was like, hey, did you get their dad to or mom to sign off on that? And they're like, no, they signed it. And you're like, they're not 18 yet. Like,
I've heard the story.
Like they were like,
they're like, what?
I gotta go get your parent. Hey, did you ever your like a legal guardian?
Yeah, somebody who can.
Yeah.
So we at our last company retreat, we have an author, Liam Lawless, who writes Apocalypse is a side quest. It's super funny, it's slice of life, really fun. And you know, he came out and like, he looks really young, but like, you know, we're like having beers and stuff, and I'm like, hey dude, can I get you a beer? Like, cause he just got there and he's like, I would, but I'm not old enough to drink. And like, like something broke in my spirit, and I was like, oh no. I am the old man in the room now, and
it's come for me.
It was so painful, very very soul crushing. I think he turned 12 this year. He just had his birthday, and he's so sweet, but like he's like a lot of these Royal Road authors are like they're so young, and it's crazy to see the kind of success that they're having. It's also scary, and this is one of the things that I talk with a lot of those authors about. And if I could genuinely impart a piece of advice, especially to the young authors that are watching this, which is no one, because like they're like, oh, who are these old people? Oh, listen to all these old grandpas reminiscing about the good old days. But you know, one of the things. One of the things that I have seen over and over and over again, and it's just like a pitfall to be aware of. A lot of authors that are a little bit older, they failed a bunch of times. And sometimes that sucks and is hard, but there's a thing about it, which is when you fail a bunch of times, you learn what doesn't work. And so you can refine your process to figure out what does work. But for a lot of the young authors that they come out of the gate and they hit a grand slam out of the gate, the problem is not that they're not good writers and not that they're not good storytellers, but the problem is they don't know what they did right. They did do something right and they did it really, really right. But sometimes because you're so new to it and you've never done anything else, you don't know what element it is that people are so attracted to or drawn to. And so when they then go on to try to do their second series, it oftentimes will not do as well or very well. And it's because they really, it's not because they're bad storytellers. It's not because they're bad writers. But again, it's because they did not understand why their story worked in the first place and what was so appealing about it, because they just wrote something that was awesome and cool. And it can take a while, once that series ends, to find out what the secret in the sauce was and to be able to replicate it in future books. And it can be kind of depressing there, that kind of that interim period where maybe you have 1 or 2 or 3 series that like kind of flop and don't do as well. And you're like, man, what happened? That's what happened. You just didn't know. But again, it's just repetition. And if you stick with it long enough, you're still that same storyteller. You're still that same writer. And it just takes a little while to figure out, why did this work? What did I do? What elements? And that's what my readers really wanted. And then figure out how to bring that forward in a new series. But that can take time. So if that's you, don't give up. That's the valley, but you'll come out of it as long as you stick with it and persevere.
Pursuing art as a profession is learning to ride the roller coaster.
Yes, so much.
It does not go like this. It goes like this.
No. And also, sorry, go ahead.
It's kind of talking to the luck thing that you were talking about before, where you can have an excellent book and it just doesn't hit the way that you wanted it to. Like Cradle. Cradle hit so well, but it's unlike anything else around it. So it's like, okay, how do I find a comparative to this? And then I wonder if Cradle came out later, then it wouldn't be in more bookstores getting greater push right now, like DCC, right?
Maybe, but it might not have done as well indie-wise, like digitally, if it had been later, which was the reason it gets more bookstores now. So it's hard to know.
And so you just don't, you can't go with those facts. You just have to make the best shot that you can. I was talking to someone, and they were like, what do you think is the biggest thing to take into account when you're finishing a series? I was like, when you started this series, you were a very different person than when you started this series. And the genre was different as well. Because, I don't know, even my shortest series, in time to produce, is at least a year or 2. And in a year, you change a lot. So, if, we've all got big series that is oh, this has taken 3, 4, 5 years to do, right?
Yeah.
And so you're going through there and you're like, okay, my writing style has changed so much. My, what I would do with characters has changed so much. And so people could be I think sometimes it's also the reinvention of the wheel sometimes, where I need to do something new. I need to do something bigger. And sometimes bigger actually takes you off of mark of where the readers want you to be.
Yeah.
And everyone's fallible to it. there are New York Times bestsellers. There are like people who have like 100, 200 books who are like, oh, I missed the mark on this one. But the simple fact of getting up and trying it again, like,
Yeah.
there's that thing about mastery of however many hours. I don't think it's about the amount of hours. I just think it's the amount of attempts. The more attempts you can make and the more time that you put into something, like if you study anything for 10 years, like how long have we read, listened, consumed media? And all of that is what we use to make the next book. All of those ideas we try to distill into the next book. So that when you finish a series, again, you've used all those ideas and you're like, I need to get something new. And sometimes, actually, the way that you executed something, you can execute those parts again the same way. And it's figuring out which layers you need to change, which are your actual weaknesses. Because it usually takes 3 series, I think, on average, for someone to find where you need to be. Because you go, here is the perfect series for me. Here is the course corrected writing for just the market and something I don't really enjoy. And then there's the in-between of, I enjoy this thing, the market enjoys this thing, and I just give less of a crap right now, and we're just gonna give it a go. And honestly, that little frame runs it all the way, I think.
Yeah.
For the again, because I'm I say former Marine. Everyone always gets on my case, and they're like, "There are no former Marine, devil dog. Once a Marine, always a Marine." I'm like, yeah. But like I say that so people know I'm not like an active duty Marine, and Chatfield is a former military as well. But it's like zeroing your weapon, right? Like you take shots and then you calibrate, and then you take shots and you calibrate, and then you like walk your sights in, and that's a big part of it. I will also say, like, going back to the luck thing, a lot of those series, and again, this is not to take any credit away from Will White, from Matt Dinneman, from Scherterloon, from any of the people that are writing these monster series. They are talented writers telling good stories. At the same time, they are black swan events, right? Like they are outside the market norm. Something happened that none of those authors could have possibly planned for, and so the success that they have is not replicatable because it's outside of their control. Like something happened, there was some tipping point somewhere that caused these things to tip and to snowball and to gain momentum that is not controllable by those authors, and to cause them to blow up in the way they did. And it's like winning a lottery. Like, it's awesome if it happens, but it's not a good retirement plan, right? Like, so when you're going into it, you shouldn't be like, I'm going to be the next DCC. I'm going to be the next Cradle. Like, maybe, but probably not. Because, again, winning the lottery is cool, but it's a terrible retirement plan. So, like, you just can't go into it expecting black swan results, because black swan results are not something anyone can engineer or market or do, no matter how much money you throw at it or how much skill you have. And so if you go in with the knowledge that, like, hey, if I want to do this as a career, it's not going to be one book. It's not going to be one series. It's me as an author putting out awesome books and growing my process over and over and over again, throughout years. And that's what it actually looks like. I think that's a much more, it can be more difficult, but I think it's a much more realistic look at what the life of a working writer really is long-term, versus just like someone who's going to write one series that makes them $1 gajillion and now they're on TV and they live in Paris and they're drinking snooty coffee, right? Like that's you just don't plan on that, and like know that it's going to be work and you're going to grind, and that's okay. And the grind is fun too.
I think the part that's like controllable in that is that those guys didn't fumble when they had their Black Swan event.
That is
right.
True.
You can't control having a complete outlier explosion occur. But the thing you can do is continue to deliver on the thing that you built, right? So Will and Matt especially like had their series go nuclear and have continued to deliver the same quality, if not better, of what the people want. And that's the part that you can control. So you can fumble a Black Swan event, right? I'm not going to name any names, but like you could write 2 books and then never write a 3rd book after the first 2 sell, an unbelievable amount. Like that's possible. And so the part you can control is that when you catch a wave, you're ready to stand on the wakeboard and ride it. But who knows when the wave will come?
No, that's it, right? Like you cannot control luck, but you can kind of optimize for it, and you can build so that when it, getting struck by lightning is rare, but if you're running around in a field waving a golf club during a lightning storm, your chances of getting struck are much better, right? So like you can optimize for success by being in the right place, in the right time, doing the right things. And when it comes, like, and this is another big fumble, like an unforced error that I see a lot of those authors make is that, they have not built the infrastructure for success. They haven't built the habits for success. And so, maybe they have a book 1 or book 2 take off, but they haven't built the writing habit to support that. And all of a sudden they're making enough money. This was the author that we were talking about that I gave the advice to. It's Brian Nordon, who I love to pieces, but I'm just gonna drop his name. Like, it's Brian Nordon, who I love to pieces. And like everyone was telling him, like, hey, you should quit. And I was like, I don't think you should quit yet. Like, yeah, book 1 is popping off and it's doing really, really good. But you have a really good gig, and there's a lot of other factors to consider. And here are the things that I think you should wait for, because I've seen this a lot. And one of the things that is super common is that when writers get successful and they start making enough money to go full-time, they go full-time and they actually get writer's block and their production goes down because they have not built the writing habit to accommodate being full-time. And so before it was like, I have 1 hour a day before work to write, and that's the only time I get. And so they're like jamming it. And then suddenly they have all the time in the world to write, and they're like, well, I'm going to check some emails, and I have all day to write. And so I guess I'll play some video games. And they're like, well, my house is really dirty. I guess I'll do that. And then an entire day has gone by, and they have written nothing. And that can happen for weeks and months. I have seen writers that have success, they go full time, and then they don't write another word for 3 months. And it's just because they have not built the practice of doing it yet. And so early success without the infrastructure in place to capitalize on it can almost be as damaging for a lot of other. It's very similar to the people who win the lottery. And then, you read stories about them, and it's like, and then 6 months later, they were dead in a cardboard box. And you're like, what happened here? Like, if you're not ready for it, it can be really tough to adjust to like this really big sudden life change. And so, yeah, that was my advice. And I was like, hey, here are the metrics you need to look for, and these are the things that you should do. And and once you've done all of these things, then you can quit your job. But I don't think you should quit before then. And I was the only person telling him this. Like every other person was like, no, just quit. It's awesome. You're blowing it out of the water. I'm like, dude, I've worked with authors
just a moment.
10 years.
Just a moment.
Just give it a little breathing room. Deal with a couple of these other things, but
now look at him.
Dissenting voice, the dissenting opinion on that particular choice.
And you were right.
Yeah.
James, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you? Because they should go find you.
It was my pleasure. You can find all my books on Amazon, through Kindle Unlimited, on Audible. I have some books. My Viridian Gate Online series is available on Spotify. You can find all of Shadow Alley Press's books at shadowalleypress.com. If you're looking for Discount Dan specific merch, I have a separate storefront for that, discountdan.shop. We have like signed books and loot boxes and bathrobes and patches and the weirdest assortment of things you could possibly imagine on that site. I would, again, really like to recommend that if you're deciding on what to buy, go with the Roots sweatpants. I cannot emphasize enough how much better those are than any of the books that I have ever written.
Plug your shit. Come on, James.
You're right.
I'm telling Jeanette you missed the moment to plug.
If y'all are on Discord, you can find our Discord link on our shadowalleypress.com website. I would like to say, so while we were on our potty break, that's the word that I use because I'm a parent with children, the potty, in the bathroom. So I'm in a hotel. You know how they usually do like the little trifold on the toilet paper? Right? Yeah. Okay, so I found this attached to the toilet paper. It's a toilet paper flower. And it was really touching.
Take it out of the bathroom, man.
How long have you had that?
It's been sitting on this table for like an hour. But it's a toilet paper flower with a seal on it. And this really reminded me of my books. My books might only be toilet paper, but I really go the extra mile to put attention to detail and a little loving touch and the experience you're going to get. So when you're signing up for a James Hunter book, maybe it's not going to be the best quality, but I really put a lot of love into it. And so you're gonna get a toilet paper flower, and I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that that there's just a little touch of the spirit in there. It's like a horror crux, but for an author, and that's me, and that's my books.
Well, guys, go find James Hunter wherever toilet paper flowers are sold. I guess that's gonna haunt me. This has been the Unnamed Podcast. Thank you so much for watching.
You've been holding on to that for an hour, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Take on it. Commitment to the bit, guys.
Get out his books. He needs more than toilet paper.
Oh, man.